even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream.
I do have a dream. Do you have a dream?
I do. I have a dream that the President of the United States has a cheeseburger that doesn't go down all the way.
President of the States, yeah. Welcome, everybody, to The Way Shit Works Now, podcast number 13. This is lucky number 13, and I just want to say something.
Fantastic.
The first time we did this was, this is giving me more of an iHip News vibe. The first time we did this,
we get to play footsie.
As a trial was exactly 8th of February of last year. It is 1 year.
Oh, wow. Man. That is amazing.
Okay, so now we are continuing, obviously, everybody, because this is not only The Way Shit Works Now, but I call this one The Power of Now and Radical Acceptance. We're also going to be being joined in just a little bit by Lady Kina Bloom as well, who's going to be streaming in from Asturias, right?
She's one of the better educators that we've found on our little Hitchhiker's Guide to Saving American Democracy. If you go to our YouTube page, it's absolutely incredible. There's just point after point after point. She's very cognizant of financial literacy, which I think so many people need. It's never taught. People get out of colleges and they have no idea how to make a household budget. People have no idea how the subscription culture is, robbing you blind, and she's just all over it in every single way. It'll be great to talk to her. We'll learn a lot.
Honestly, she also comes from a background where Lady Bloom was also working for Tesla for a hot minute. So there's a whole gamut. And also, everybody, you can also follow us here at The Way Shit Works Now on YouTube, The Way Ish Works Now on YouTube, The Way Shit Works Now on Blue Sky and on Instagram as well. You can also follow her YouTube, Things Your Mom Should Have Told You. I love the title. And there's a lot of things. I mean, we could take that and make a Spanish version of that because
something, right? I just stumbled upon her because obviously the person who hooks us up for everything we've ever done, Annie Grawl, and her friends. So she said, this is somebody you need to look into and learn about. And I was impressed from the very first second. So I'm actually very excited to get to talk to her and learn a couple of new things. Probably more than a couple.
And her voice is very soothing.
Right, yeah, it makes you feel good.
Her voice is very soothing, so Children of the Corn, you're going to love this as well.
Yeah.
Now, but there's so much as also...
But first, unfortunately...
Then there's the fun part, because as welcoming you back to number 13, lucky number 13, there's also an element where there has been too much happening. Obviously, since last time we were all together...
Yeah, last month, it's been a year of news. Absolutely insane. It's been 10 years of a year.
And so much is thrown out there to throw away from the actual
100%
paying attention to what the hell is going on.
Have I talked about with you this shell game that they play? So what MAGA at the very top and Trump is very good at is playing a shell game where he'll co-opt news cycles. It'll be a dumb thing and a racist thing and a corrupt thing and an authoritarian thing. And it'll be like a 3-card Monte game, 4-card in this. So it's like... dumb, racist, authoritarian, and it's so much going on that he's broken the media coverage, and he's been doing it for 10 years. They still have no answer for it,
but
and he's broken our attention spans.
Media must take responsibility for that as well, because they have permitted that.
I agree.
And there are some, breakdowns in some of the podcasting media that is starting to get wind of other things that have been happening. Obviously, in this administration, you cannot be looking at the way that they've released these Epstein files with more than 3 million more files that have not been released. Approximately 51% has been released. But there's
allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah. But also, there there are some people who have been wondering. I'd like to ask Lady Keena about this later. There are some people who are wondering if this could be some because of the 4-card Monty bullshit that's going on. There could be some psyop type drama.
Well, he runs the intelligence agencies, right? I mean, he runs his own director of national intelligence is helping raids, which will definitely break down more.
Well, let's talk about that because this week, everybody,
there was a psyop in Georgia. No, 2 weeks ago now, 2.5 weeks ago now was the actual raid. In Fulton County, Georgia. Yeah, that's what time. That's what's happening now.
I truly thought it was last weekend.
This is time now. This is time now under Trump.
I am loving this
did you go?
Dude, nobody can see his pin. What is that? Is that sangria?
It is.
I love it. From the post you made the other day that made me piss my pants. Okay, sorry, folks.
We need a little humor.
Yes, we do.
We need a little humor to
not
break
last
down.
week. I'm wrong. Thanks. 2.5 weeks ago.
Insane, right?
These mother effers run, and now everybody's going to remember who knows the history and been paying attention to what's going on and who knows our podcast, that anybody was paying attention to that 2.5 weeks ago, apparently. There was a raid in Fulton County, Georgia, where they came in and took away boxes. It just feels like we keep repeating this.
FBI with the director of the FBI and the director of national intelligence, fully unqualified, both.
Who I believe, incidentally, excuse me for interrupting, might be a Russian asset. Please, her name is Tulsi Gabbard.
Both might be Russian assets. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard is one of the worst people ever. Toenail eating, Putin shill, who needs to be impeached and removed and prosecuted. She belongs to a very fringe element of her belief system, which eat their prophets' toenails. Yeah, that's a real thing. Yeah, I'm not even talking out of my ass. You can go look that up.
You can make a soup out of that.
Yeah, isn't that great? The flavor, the sabor. The sabor.
Sometimes I'm not going to lie. I like the smell.
So, I mean, the reason why this is a disaster is because the President of the United States is using law enforcement and intelligence community resources to abuse his power completely. Why are we raiding Fulton County, Georgia, over 2020 election conspiracy theories that have been debunked over and over and over again? Georgia had 3 recounts and an audit. They have a Republican governor. They had a Republican Secretary of State. They had Republican supermajorities in the state legislature. There was no cheating. Donald Trump just sucked. And that's why he lost the race.
Well, not only that, there was also over 60 cases that were held in courts around the country. And
every one of them
failed. And everybody upheld this. This is a ridiculousness. So again, this is yet another one of that. Let's throw into a 5-card Monty drama now that has been placated by the administration that be, because the powers that be in this administration. Because I truly believe that there are probably other people that are implicated in here. It looks like certainly Peter Thiel, of whose Queen's School J.D. Vance comes from. Mr. Mascara, I mean, he is all over those Epstein files as well.
Hawley is also one of his acolytes. Peter Thiel's like sort of puppets that he's bought. J.D. Vance is the most prominent one, but he has
definitely
senators
he is
as well.
The vice president.
But if we're going back and forth, they both kind of related, right? So like,
in which way?
The idea that powerful people are horribly abusing their proximity to power to implement their agendas over the rest of us. So the reason why the FBI is raiding the Georgia election officials probably has more to do with plans to rig the midterms than proving Drowsy Don correct on his Venezuela, Italian satellites, new conspiracy of the day for 2020 election theft, which never happened. I just think that it's the same group of people. Mm-hmm. And so I guess that's more what I mean, that it's the same group of people doing all of this.
Last week, I, thanks to Rob, was hooked up to do a live national broadcast with La Vanguardia and their news program here. And one of the questions that came up was, why do you think he's doing this, and why have so many blacks and Latinos voted for this when it obviously was going to affect them or hurt them? And I'd mentioned to him that I believe that a lot of this drama that was being, promulgated everywhere, specifically in blue counties and states and cities, was to enact some form of drama, cause military inaction, and then we can go ahead. If there's military enforced, we don't have to have necessarily, according to his mentality anyway, we don't have to have elections. He even said last week, we don't have to have elections.
Right. He
said
that
the Republicans should nationalize
the elections.
2 weeks ago, he said we shouldn't even have it. He was joking, Carolyn Levitt said, KKK Carolyn Levitt said. And then he said that the Republicans should nationalize these elections.
And his boy Stephen, who's the
Stephen Hoke, he's
not Miller, Bannon.
Steve Bannon
said we're going to send ICE to every polling place. These are things people have to worry about. But understand, the President of the United States can't unilaterally cancel elections. Correct. It's not a possible thing. But he can send a bunch of masked thugs and January 6th terrorists that are working for ICE now to polling places to try to make people angry. But it didn't work in Minneapolis. It's not working in Minnesota. It's not working much of anywhere. I think what's happening is people are just infuriated with this. To go back to your point, I think 2024... And you did amazing on that interview, by the way. Can't wait to send you out there more. You're a very great spokesman. He was official and proper.
It was very good.
Yeah. No, listen, first time crushing it for us. I appreciate that. But I was going back to the fact that they are going to do everything they can to possibly suppress as many votes against them as possible in these midterms. If you look at the U.S. Postal Service, they've now changed the rules about when something is considered in their custody and not. So postmarked by, they have said this has to run through the U.S. Postal Service system before it will be considered postmarked by. So instead of like it getting to a truck with a mailman, they're going to add extra time before mail is considered in their custody. What does that mean? Mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots. The entire point of what they want to do is screw over people who send in mail-in ballots so that they're too late to be considered legal. And then they'll say, look at all this illegal voting. It's a whole trap. So what I have to beg our Americans abroad living outside of the United States of America that fully intend to vote and to get involved in these elections because you're fired up as hell is do it immediately. Register immediately. Request your absentee ballots immediately. And
where can people do that, mate?
Oh, votefromabroad.org is our personal favorite site.
It is.
This is it's just so user-friendly and easy. You can go on the website. You can get your FAQs answered. You can go state by state and learn the laws and the regulations.
Because they vary. So pay attention. And especially if you're coming from New York like we are, that is the most difficult one to vote online if you're out.
My wife and I have to mail in our federal postcards to request our absentee ballots this year.
And if we can do it, and I've been doing it for 17 years, you can too. So if you are abroad, and there are more than 16 million of us outside, more than 16, do it.
This is the whole ball game, folks. They know us Americans abroad can change the power structures in the United States of America. We did it before in Arizona and Georgia and Wisconsin. These states in 2020 that Trump keeps saying cheated. He's lying, of course. The difference in those votes were the abroad votes. More than the difference in those votes. We can do it again.
Repeat it again. Nearly 90 million people did not vote in that, or over 90 million people did not vote in the last election, and 90% of people abroad did not vote in the last election as well. So that 90 is something to pay attention to, children of the corn.
Get involved as much as you possibly can, but the number one way we can stop the madness is a massive wave midterm elections that cut the legs off the administration. I'll explain how. If the United States Senate changes power, guess who doesn't get to retire? Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, the worst Supreme Court justices of all time.
What do you mean?
Because the Senate confirms their replacements. And if the Democratic Party takes control of the U.S. Senate, Donald Trump doesn't get to put My Pillow guy on SCOTUS.
Okay.
Donald Trump doesn't get to put Todd Blanche on SCOTUS.
Okay.
And he doesn't get to get his appointments for federal government offices. Okay. There can be a true stall of the Trump agenda completely.
Do you think that Democrats would actually put in some kind of legislation to have term limits?
Well, the president would have to sign it, so maybe, but Donald Trump ain't signing that. But the point is though, putting out fires and harm reduction, right? Yeah. That's what we have to do. The Republicans are starting 1,000 fires a month. We have to be the good bombardiers, is that correct?
Yeah.
And just put out the fires. And the number one way you can do that is to take power away from them. And we still have a free enough country where you have the right to vote. You have the right to boycott. You have the right to You have the right to vote. You have the right to boycott. You have the right to troll the president of the United States on their social media pages, which I do every single day.
For the moment, we do. One of the things that I also want to segue into is the fact that Don Lemon and Georgia Fort were arrested last week for doing their own journalistic First Amendment, not second, third, or fourth, but First Amendment duty of reporting in reference to where there was a church in Minnesota where it was found out that the pastor was actually the ringleader of that county
of ICE, and so he was protested.
People went through. I believe Indivisible had helped set some of this up. I do not.
They do protests. They run protests. Not run protests, but they help people organize protests.
They interrupted a church service because they wanted information and answers. And two black, I want to say African American journalists were arrested. And Don Lemon was cornered at 11:30 at night as he was going to his hotel room in LA because he was about to cover the Grammys. Because he's a private journalist now, so he gets to do as he wants to do, as what you do when you're not having to work for CNN.
He's a journalist.
Hello.
Georgia Fort is a journalist.
30 years, Don Lemon, and Georgia, another decade or two. And it was so obvious what is being happened, because if people are not paying attention, this is one of the first things that the Third Reich did, was completely abolish and annihilate any type of journalism that was going against what Hitler and his forces were doing. This is exactly the same shite that happens in North Korea and in other places like Saudi Arabia, for example, and abroad.
They're an anti-constitutional White House. They're not unconstitutional, anti-constitutional. Mm-hmm. You can list every Bill of Rights, and this administration is trying to tear down a bunch of them. They want to make you quarter ICE agents. That's in the Constitution.
And we see how easy it is to become an ICE agent. And, of course, they're also dangling little carrots where they will give you a $50,000 sign-up bonus. Yes, you heard me right, folks. That is a $50,000 sign-up bonus.
Your tax dollars at work.
And $200,000 to be an ICE agent. Now, typically, when you are a police or military member, you have to go through months to even a year plus of training. These men, apparently, they're supposed to get 3 to 6 weeks of training, but within hours you can already get just going online, you can get your registration and everything solicited to go ahead and become an ICE agent. There was a journalist 2 weeks ago who did this, and within a matter of minutes she was ready to go.
I would just say support these journalists. Support Georgia Fort. Support the Center for Broadcast Journalism. Support the BLCK Press. Support Don Lemon. Support ProPublica, which is the only, it seems like the only news agency cracking legitimate investigative journalism scoops on the Trump administration is ProPublica.
Yes. In fact, they did a big one recently this week, just a couple of days ago. What was it?
I mean, I'm still on the.
I'm still, and I cannot remember right now.
It's every single day. They're doing something amazing. They are doing great work.
They're doing the Lord's work, dear.
Donate if you have some extra cash. Donate, subscribe, do everything you can to help independent journalism. Because unfortunately, our big time national news media, corporate news media, are capitulating to the president's agenda in too many ways to count. Support local journalism. It's a huge thing you can do, and protest.
Well, and speaking of which, there's going to be a nationwide protest happening on March 28th. Again, Indivisible and many other organizations are putting this together. It is also going to be abroad. Now, is there going to be one of these here as well in Barcelona on the 28th?
So,
okay.
The last protest that Indivisible has sort of helped rally and our organization participated in, I'm a member of the Democrats Abroad. I do not speak for them, but we participated in the largest single-day protest in American history. The plan for this one is to make it even bigger. These take time to plan, organize, coordinate. You have to get permits. You have to make up cute signs. You have to tell people it's actually happening. They need to know. So there are multiple organizations that are... Indivisible has an abroad wing. Mm-hmm. The Democrats abroad are planning their own protests. We've done in Barcelona 7 or 8 maybe so far. It really depends. And it's just important. It's important to show the world and our host countries that have been such good hosts to us that we're not standing for this shit. We're not going to allow this to continue. We're going to fight it tooth and nail, and I think the protests are important. Next week, my organization is planning little organizational meetings. We're going to start at the very beginning. What do we do to make this happen on March 28th to get exactly everything in order? there is a multi-step process. We need lots of people. We need people to. So if you go on the Democrats Abroad website or the Indivisible Abroad website, totally distinct, different places to go. If you're not a Democrat member of DA, then you can, go and be part of the Indivisible thing. But it's welcome to anyone who's just sick and tired of the bullshit. Can I say bullshit?
Yes, you can. And also, there's also the fact of the Epstein files, which we have not talked about.
We have to have an hour for that. We need an hour for the Epstein files drops.
Before
Putin.
we sign in with, okay, that's a great angle to start in. Because what we're discovering is that it apparently looks that this piece of shit, Jeffrey Epstein, was an intermediary between the Kremlin and the Trump administration.
It explains a lot about Donald Trump and powerful right-wingers' behavior, that there was a Putin compromise operation on Epstein's Island that has been blackmailing them ever since. Now, I hate to be conspiratorial about it, but it seems a lot like that's the case. And when you see these, like, Elon Musk, like, what's the wildest night in your island? When can I come over? And
after saying he had never, and they were
lying.
pestering him to come to the island, and he would say no.
If you count the amount of Epstein-tied people in the Trump administration, you wouldn't be able to stop counting. It's getting absolutely insane at this point.
That guy, Nutlick or Lutnick or whatever the hell.
Howard Lutnick.
We'll call him a Nutlicker.
That's a good name for him.
That child, when
Neighbor.
he went on and said, I was disgusted and I never saw. I just want to say that his wife and he sent an email to go have lunch at his island with Jeffrey Epstein, and they listed the names and ages of their children and sex of their children as they were going there.
We need to definitely do a deep dive on that, and we will. We've done one episode. We got to do a whole other one because there are millions and millions and millions of files, and then forget all those emails that Congress got.
The thing is, there are people that we're talking about that are in the administration right now who were telling what their kids were. There was another one from, I believe, the same family who said, my daughter, who's 14, is having a sleepover with 5 of her friends. We want you to come over for dinner, Jeffrey. We know about how Kim Kardashian's mother got her set up, having her own daughter a contract with Vivid Video to do a sex tape.
The Ray J thing?
This is disgusting instances where we are continuously seeing, and typically white families who are selling their children to do this. 99, and I'm going to say this again, 99% of the people in these files are white Jews, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, and white Anglo-Saxon Catholics.
The enablers and participants, yeah, absolutely.
But the only people who have gone down, and mostly male, the only people who have gone down for anything of this nature are Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman, Puff Daddy, piece of shit, black brother, and R. Kelly. And none of the white folk, and I cannot not say that because it is so bloody obvious.
I mean, that is definitely
and
a true
it's
statement.
The same thing happened with Polanski and Jack Nicholson because, by the way, Roman Polanski was a director of, some great cinema, let's not lie, but he was...
so was Woody Allen,
out of
and he
the
married
country.
his adopted daughter.
And he's all over the Epstein files too.
Yeah.
But it all happened at Jack Nicholson's house. Nothing ever happened at Jack Nicholson. Roman Polanski left the scene with a gangsta lean to never return. And the only person who was ever taken to jail for that was Angelica Houston, a woman, because they came in and found a little bit of cocaine in the house, and she was the one in the house. She had nothing to do with this at all, but she was the one who was there because she fell asleep. This is a continuously. If you're a woman or a person of color, it's going to be much more. You're more at risk,
right?
Just so you know,
you can be. If you're going to be an abuser, you better be white. No,
which is a sick thing. This is a sickness
joke.
to even say that, but that's the truth. That seems to be a reality.
Yeah.
Because nobody is
disgusting.
coming after this, and this particular Justice Todd Blanche has said that the Department of Justice is over with this. Nobody has heard or seen anything from Mrs. Pamela freaking Bondi, and I would like to say that after Alex Acosta de Mierda in Florida gave Jeffrey Epstein his sweetheart deal, the next person who was the Attorney General and took over all cases afterward, they come into the lap of the next Attorney General and continue, was Pamela Bondi.
Yeah, he's a federal prosecutor, but
she was
state, and she helped Trump with a lot of
Oh,
cover-ups. But
excuse me,
Alex
not
Acosta
attorney
was a federal attorney. Yeah,
federal attorney.
but the reason why there's confusion is Trump made him the Secretary of Labor on his last term, and
Exactly.
then once Epstein killed himself, Trump he also resigned. Alex Acosta resigned.
Also, just come.
No, that's not the right name.
It also came to my Alex Acosta.
Isn't that the CNN guy?
No.
No. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Alex
Okay, yeah.
Acosta.
I wasn't prepared for Trump term one evils. Sorry.
No, I'm doubting it. But it just came to my mind the previous job that Pamela Bondi had before
AG
she
for
came,
Florida. Yes.
was AG for Florida. But before she became the AG for the country, she was a conciliary for
Qatar.
Qatar, making $150,000 a month.
Absolutely insane.
And then she became Attorney General. And then Qatar gave this mother effer a $400 million plane.
It infuriates me so much the way powerful
Please connect
people
some
are
dots. abusing
everyone. But let's turn the page because I'm going to get angry and I'm going to start flipping tables. And
we
we're
don't want
gonna
to do
yell.
that, but we also
Let's get educated.
Is Lady Kina Bloom online with us now? Yes, she is. Miss
All right,
Bloom, can you
we're
hear us by
ready.
any chance? And hey, there she is now. May I ask you a question, madam? Is it Blum or Bloom? Blum
It's
or-
Bloom.
It's Bloom.
I
Okay,
was
it is.
right.
Yes,
I
you
was
were.
right.
Yes, you were.
Fantastic. Sorry, we got a little angry and we ran overtime with the injustice of it all. We apologize. We thank you for coming here to enlighten us and educate us. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for being there.
My pleasure.
All right, now,
Set us off.
Lady Bloom, where are you? Where are you located in Spain, out of curiosity?
I'm in the north. I'm in Asturias.
How much rain have you been encountering these days? Please tell us it's as bad as it is here because it's been insane in Barcelona.
Actually, I think the rain that belongs in Asturias went to Barcelona.
Seriously. Yeah.
It is too real. Okay, Kina, where are you from originally before you hightailed it out of there and came to this side of the country, of the world?
So we left Florida. So
Okay.
right in the heart of DeSantis land, Pam Bondi land, all of those people, Trumplandia, I guess.
Great call.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
in the blue dot of Central Florida, that's where we left. So, mind you, we left about 60 guns. We were stocking up. We were preparing ourselves
Gotta
for
do what you gotta
whatever
do.
were
Wait,
to
wait, wait.
come.
This just took a swing around. Okay, wait a minute. What are you talking about? 60 guns right now?
Yeah.
Are you-
In DeSantis
Yeah.
land?
Don't scare a Mexican, madam. Wait a minute. 60 guns.
Yeah,
So did you really feel, because this is one of the biggest growing gun ownerships is specifically blue Democrat voters and more specifically African American females. So
Dangerous world.
Yeah, I working in Florida,
Yes, ma'am.
working at Tesla in Florida, I dealt with a lot of people who leaned right. Strangely enough, working at Tesla, Tesla was more of a social status symbol. So we saw a lot of right-leaning people come in, and the people I was working with were deeply right. And one of my colleagues, he actually was a gun shop owner, and I would listen to stories from him about the people who were coming in and how people were moving. And in my family, we understood the danger that was coming. So I'm thinking about 2015, 2016.
Wow.
I could
Okay.
see the dangers that were coming. On top of that, that same colleague who's the gun shop owner actually had deep ties to the Trayvon Martin story. So I understood a little bit deeper than a lot of people have on the surface level living in Central Florida. So he worked with the person who took Trayvon's life. And just hearing the stories about how many people, how the people that he worked with in the area that he used to live, how they behaved, I learned and understood a bit more that people would see than people would see on the surface level. And mind you, he is an ardent Trump supporter. He was at January 6th.
Is that
This is the
right?
person I was working with daily. So I had a deep understanding of what was going on. We were always cordial, but I was smart enough to take away lessons from him. And taking that home and telling the stories to my husband, he fortified our home. We made sure that we had a room in our house that was a safe room that guns couldn't penetrate. It from the outside, it seemed paranoid. Our neighbor across the street, who we were closest with, she thought we were going overboard. And now she messages us and says, how could you see all this? How could you understand that? You were ahead of the curve. And I wish
Absolutely.
I had taken the lessons from you that you were sharing with me.
May I ask you a question,
And
Kina?
yeah.
If
Hmm.
you had not been born African American, do you think, and your husband, I'm wondering if he is as well, would you have
No,
had?
he's actually from Asturias.
He's from Asturias, so español,
Nice.
mira nomás.
Mm.
Do you think that plays part and parcel of why you had this kind of understanding of, prognostication of what
Like
was coming?
lived experience, kind of. What do you mean? Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure if my lived experience, I think if I relied on my experience being a Black woman growing up in the South, I would have
Hmm.
separated myself from that person I was learning from. And the way I was
Mm.
raised allowed me not to push the unsafe people away. And this was an unsafe person that I was working with, and I was very well aware of it. And I made sure to keep the lines of communication open with him. I made sure to make him feel as though I admired him in some way. And so all of his barriers came down with me, and he was very open with me, and he was trying to convince me that I should be a Trump supporter too. It made no sense, but he thought that
Yeah.
I belonged on that side of politics,
You
and I
played
was
the role
very far
well.
from it. And
You played the role well.
absolutely. And yeah.
Trauma
No, go ahead.
response. I just feel like some of this is as a Latino, I've never been to Alabama and Mississippi because my father would never let us stop there because he said, but Mexicans were not allowed here. So there's a lot of
Mm.
trauma that I feel that Latinos and Black people are not aware of when we grow up and live in the United States of America. And so I see trauma response in some of the stuff that we're talking about right now. But you're out of there, so we don't even have to deal with that anymore, thankfully.
Learn and
Florida
grow.
itself, and when we look at historically, I'm also an historian. When we look at Florida, it has an interesting history with our Black brothers and sisters in Florida. And so, power to you and the people for. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Florida. So,
Right.
if we really quickly, I want one more question because I know we have so many to get to. But could you see 10, 12 years ago that Mr. Musk was in his mentality?
Or
No.
I guess what was your
Okay.
measure of the man
Yeah. Versus now.
versus
Here's
now?
what I This is what I've always thought of tech bros, and I considered him to be a tech bro that just had
Oh yeah.
better
Luck.
public relation skills,
Mm.
right? I've always found them to be the kids who were ostracized or in special needs. They all had some
Totes.
sort of special need, and that special need was what allowed them to become who they are. And the problem is they live in this ecosystem within one another where
Mm.
they're punching back at all the people and all the things that they thought hurt them. But they're in this space right now where they're just punching down,
Yeah.
and they have become the villain that they think they're fighting against.
Oh, child.
And they
Well said.
And
complain.
so
Yeah.
back
Well said.
and they complain. And one of my biggest things, a big part of why I started my channel was I don't have the right to complain unless I do something about it. And at
Love
the
it.
core of everything I do, I want people to stop complaining and friggin' do something about the problems that they're complaining about.
Pues, mija,
And
¿cómo
so,
sientes aquí en España? I feel like a lot of our people love to complain here in Spain, I've noticed, but I hear you loud and clear.
So I want to get directly into your page because I
Oh,
think it's something that everybody needs to see
the
at least
title, too.
once. First of all, yeah,
The
solid gold.
title.
Things your
Hello.
mom should have told you. Is that correct? Solid
yeah.
gold. Can you tell us what began your process of starting this and how you formulated your sort of brand? I mean, what I love what you're doing is doing financial literacy education mixed with a political analysis and a social analysis. So you're getting like multiple lessons at once. And I really enjoy that element of it. So when you talk about like debt traps and ways to work within and outside of the system and ways to effectively like not empower large scale
The
corporations.
oligarchy one,
Oh.
that we've been talking about, the framing.
It's just really. So I just wanted to. Can you walk us through the origins of your page?
I was supposed to share my experience living in Asturias in the countryside. That's how the channel started.
Okay. Okay.
It actually started with a different name, and
Mhm.
it was specifically supposed to focus on my
Asturias.
life as an American in Asturias.
Uh-huh.
Then I saw a video by another creator that was talking about the myths of the American dream. And I thought, wow, I want to talk about that too. And I made that video as well. But when I made that video, that's when I changed the channel name to Things Your Mom Should Have Told You. Because the myths exactly. So that's how it all happened. I posted that video in November of 2024 and it gained traction at some point in December. And when they say start a YouTube channel, just throw everything out there and see what sticks. But as you're doing it, you're going to learn and you'll get better at it. I wasn't ready for the growth of that video. And that video, by the time January hit, had already hit 1 million views. And I was overwhelmed
Nice.
That's
and
what we're
just trying to
waiting for.
figure out.
Yeah, seriously.
I was trying to figure out my voice. So I grew
Yeah.
really, really fast. And I was in the middle of this sprint, this challenge that I gave myself to achieve by my 50th birthday. It was 50 videos by the time I turned 50. It was a 3-month sprint. And I missed it by one video, but I learned so much.
I love it.
And the videos that you saw during that time was me just developing my voice. And what I've decided with this channel is just to give people lessons that they need to hear. A lot of the videos that don't get the most views are the lessons people don't want to hear yet. There's some lessons on there about reparations. People aren't ready to hear that.
Not yet, I
There's
guess.
a video. There's a video about changing the Constitution, and I talk about the Spanish Constitution and how it was changed in 1975. And the only thing the viewers could see is, well, we have Trump, so we can't change the Constitution. And the point is, we can't just sit in this toilet bowl that we're in right now. We have to poke our heads above the lid and see what's going on around us.
right.
Because to get stuck in this mire and not have a big picture view has always been a part of our problem. And I'm just trying to get people to see beyond what's right here, right now. Because if we continue to just focus on what's right in front of us, the news cycle is going to tear us all apart. And we're going to
And it
feel
is.
100% right.
It
I can't even agree with you possibly more. It's the crux of our entire existence. That very statement. So I agree with you completely.
Off the piggybacking off of that, what responsibility, especially now that you are a growing YouTuber, do you think that citizen journalists, YouTubers, people on their platforms, what do they have in shaping the political understanding of people, in your opinion?
From what I'm seeing online, there's a lot of people talking about the same story, you'll see an 8-minute video, it's 1 minute of information and 7 minutes of commentary, but the commentary doesn't really give solution. And I think we need more people providing solutions, even if it's the same solution over and over and over again. Once people hear it enough, they'll realize, okay, I get it. If I lose my job, it will be bad. But the world we're moving towards, I'll probably lose my job anyway. So let's start working on this problem right now. And people aren't looking far forward enough to understand that we've been practicing. By we, I mean the people in charge. They've been practicing on all marginalized groups for a very long time. They've figured this out, and we're at the point that we need to suck it up and work together and get our stuff done so that we can stop it right here, right now.
Is it easy?
Hell yeah.
Excuse me for interrupting.
No, that's
Anybody.
I mean, amen.
What you just said just throws back something with accountability. because the accountability factor of the people that we've just spoken about, specifically with heterosexual men, not my brother, he takes accountability, but
I do try.
But as a gay man, one of the things that I've been dealing with a lot of my business sessions and my own family is men not wanting to own up and just say, yeah, you know what, I messed up, I effed up, excuse me, please forgive me, let me work on this. Just take accountability, let's move the F on. Is it easy, do you think, to move on and do this as we've spoken about when we have a significant portion of the population that will never apologize, take accountability, or take responsibility? And how do we perhaps move them towards that?
Yeah, that's probably the more important
That's
part.
the thing. I've been trying to make videos that would reach those people, and the video is me talking directly to them. The We could work together if they would just take accountability. That's why I think I've made 2 or 3 videos talking about how I won't forgive Trump supporters, but I'll work with them. It's not, like I said,
This
I
is
worked
roughly
with a guy who I knew was the enemy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's okay. I can work
I
with
can,
you. You just need to know that what you did was messed up and stop trying to hide behind your behavior was so disgusting over the past 8 years. Own up to it. You owned up to it while you were in it. I look at people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's trying to re rebrand herself. And you know what? I'll let her do what she needs to do so that we can achieve the goals that I need. I look at
I like that.
many of the Democrats that I don't like, that who are who are like speed bumps to every destination we're trying to get to, but I will work with them to achieve the goal that we're trying to achieve. And when I look back at this election back in 2024, and so many people stayed home because they didn't agree fully with somebody, it's the dumbest thing that you can do. People want to break things down. I get that. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel when it's already
Already here.
there? We can work with what we already have.
I
It takes a lot less effort.
The leadership.
Yeah, sorry to. Yeah, I'm just. I mean, you're just hitting home runs after home runs, so it's hard to catch up to it. But you're completely right. We've had this exact debate.
Well, about leadership too, in our parties.
Coalitions aren't cults. You're going to have a lot of different types of people in coalitions. And my standard for working with people who have decided to defect, because I believe we're at war. They've declared war at us. They've been at war with people like my wife, who is a woman of color, and she's afraid to even go back to visit. They've been at war with us every single time they're in power. You're right about the apology, a sincere, heartfelt apology, but then acts of contrition.
Action. Speak louder
Acts of
than
contrition.
words.
Don't be Marjorie Taylor Greene and, oh yeah, MAGA was a lie, but then I'm going to go vote for every piece of anti-trans legislation and still tell you the 2020 election was stolen. Don't say, oh,
Exactly.
I don't like Donald Trump, but I'm going to keep voting for Republicans for the rest of my life. Like, prove it. Show your acts. And then I think we should be, open to that. Like person by person, circumstance by circumstance dependent. But I think it's a huge, huge thing that we need defections. I mean, every single war values defections. And when you have a podcaster who was a big idiot and decided to host this monster on their show, apologize. But then show me the acts of contrition. Bring it, and then I can be more forgiving. And I think that's a big part of it.
Lady Bloom, is there any acts of contrition you could see that would make you think differently about some of these the forgiveness factor?
In my vision, I see these people defecting and being on the front line because they've already proven that they're fighters.
Okay.
Yeah.
They know how to do it. They know how to fight the enemy as well. And they need to be on the front lines of all of this because they brought it in. They ushered it in to help us make it move away.
What is that saying? The enemy of my enemy is my mate, is my friend.
Yeah, right.
So if they do deflect from that, then okay, here's come.
So let me shift it just a little bit. What do you think is something that not enough people are talking about, a systemic problem that not enough people are talking about that's fueling where we're at right now, and what do you think we can do about it? You've covered so many, so I wonder.
I know. I try and talk about what people aren't talking about. I think everybody's focus is on those papers that have been released, and I know it's a distraction from something. What the distraction is from, I'm not quite sure. Um, because to protect all of that information for so long and then do this 3 million document dump, just it doesn't make sense to me. And to have the dump be incomplete at the same time also doesn't make sense to me. So I know there's something out there. Here's the problem right now for me.
Please.
I am struggling with mental health,
Okay.
because I'm digging through so much information, and it's disheartening, having family and friends. And my family and friends groups are a part of the targeted community. So
That's right.
every day is a little bit of worry.
Yeah, mine too.
And so it's I'm struggling with staying on top of that. That's why I've taken my channel. I used to post twice a week. Now I'm down to once a week, and it's just to manage myself, so that what I'm putting out there isn't slop. I just want to put out something that is helpful and that can teach people something.
You know
And
what?
so,
Excuse me.
yeah,
No. Sorry. There's a slight
go ahead.
delay. There's a 1 to 2 second delay. I apologize. As you're speaking, I was thinking, what solutions do we offer when we're talking about the things that men are? Emotional, mental, spiritual health is one of those things that are necessary for men to start taking accountability.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So perhaps pushing the necessity for emotional, spiritual, mental health. I like to say more emotional, spiritual, because if you say mental health to men, a lot, especially certain types of men, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with getting your emotions and spirit life, especially down in the South where everyone's a good Christian, it can sometimes affect a little bit of change. And
Lucas is from Texas, by the way.
yeah, I was born in Texas, and Mexican power, miss. And
Radical
then,
right household.
very much so, and very much meted within the far right of the Republican Party. My mother was. And then after a divorce, we moved to New York City, and I became a Brooklyn boy at 14, 15 years old. And that was able to obviously open my mind and my eyes. But how do you distinguish between critiquing the systemic stuff that we were just mentioning and that power, and not fostering cynicism amongst the audience? Because if we're trying to critique it and not make everybody, how do we placate that, in your opinion?
In my opinion, as long as I tell you things we can do about it, right? I, I've made so many changes in my life since 2022 when I left the States, and I was very much a capitalist back then. I didn't understand what that meant. And capitalism, I don't see it going away anytime soon,
Right.
but there are ways that we can help one another. And that's the biggest thing that I want people to understand, is that just because the almighty dollar is what you've been taught your whole life to go after, there are ways to have wealth without involving dollar bills. And actually everything's gone crypto and digital. So
Right.
there are ways you can barter, you can work within your community, and you can find wealth through relationships and connecting with other people.
Exchange of
I think
services, like bartering, yeah.
it, exactly. So that's one of the biggest things I've been trying to teach. It's one of the biggest lessons I've learned, not just living in Spain, but specifically in the countryside in Spain. It's one of those lessons that you kind of learn really hard. Not everybody needs to have all this equipment just to get their property taken care of. We share with one another, and that's something that you tend not to see in the cities, and that's something that I do want to spread through my channel.
You know what? That's fostering, in a way, not only just an aid, but an abundance mentality. Because with your aid, you're helping other people create an abundance for their own, wealth or what
Yeah.
have you.
In a way of speaking, yeah.
If we're looking forward,
Yes. Which we always are.
which we need to be specifically more so now, what topics or events do you feel are going to be more central to the commentary for that? What you need between 26 to 27?
Right now, okay, I'm looking forward in the sense that I am concerned about the elections with what Stephen Bannon has said, with
Just talked about that.
the frozen people monitoring the polling sites. And
Frozen
so
people. I
I'm
like that.
concerned. I'm concerned about my mail-in ballot. You know, it's not free
That's what we're talking about.
for us to vote from abroad. You know, it costs money. And
does.
while I saw that my vote was counted in Florida, it didn't matter because I'm a little blue dot. I'm in the little blue dot in a state that used to be blue that somehow turned purple and is now red. So
Do you see it going
yeah,
purple again? By chance?
I think it's always been purple
Okay.
ever since the last time I trusted my vote in Florida was when
Gore.
Al Gore lost.
Yeah.
And that's when all of my faith kind of fell apart because it didn't make sense. We're talking about a hanging Chad,
And who was the
right?
governor then? I don't remember
Yeah,
who that
Brooks Brothers
governor
riots, one of the worst Supreme Court
I was
decisions
in
of all
uni
time.
at the time, and I just
Yeah.
remember thinking, this is a sad...
And a lot of those characters returned for January 6th in the Jump's entire attempt to overturn the election. So, can you, on a final note, can you walk us through a little bit of your upcoming projects and what you're planning to sort of dig into for us? Where sort of now we have an appetite for this content.
My next video is actually a plea for people to do something. I think it'll be fun with my videos. What I've learned, because I have to play with the YouTube algorithm,
Yeah.
I have learned that my second sentence insults somebody. It always insults somebody. So whoever I'm insulting, that's the person that the video is actually talking to. And there's going to be a lot of insults in this video and it'll be fun, but my insults they don't come as harsh because of the way I speak. It's very soft, and actually I speed up my videos because I talk so slowly and I could put everybody to sleep. But with my voice, I'm able to get some harsh points across that people need to hear. And I
Amen.
hope that the people that I'm talking to will very much hear it. And basically, I'm asking people to take action financially, especially hearing about what Visa and MasterCard have planned with the Trump card and all of these things. Like,
Right.
we
It's ridiculous.
really need to figure out what we're doing and how we're doing it. And,
Boycotts.
you know, with my
Yeah. Yeah.
with my last video, I shared a link to, I think it's called European-alternatives.eu, where you can find alternative products from the ones that you use in the US. And these are specifically European alternatives. And I'm here in Europe. That's why I'm looking at European alternatives. But
That's a brilliant idea.
there are options that we can do that don't involve the US, because frankly we need to break what is happening, and the only leverage we have is financial. And unless people want to get in the streets and become violent, but I'm not your girl for that. So
Nah,
I'm
we're
going to
not-
do financial.
We're not there yet. Elections, courts, protests are allowed. Trolling the
just-
president on Twitter is allowed.
And let's hope we
we're
get
not
to
there
the
yet.
elections.
Yeah, let's as long as like elections are counted and Dementia Don is on a helicopter on his way out of DC on about January 20th, 2029. If that doesn't happen, it's a whole different
He
conversation.
won't make it to that.
Yeah. Listen, we're so lucky
Thank
to
you.
have your time. Thank you,
Honestly.
thank you, thank you. Can you give one more promotion for your page?
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My channel is called Things Your Mom Should Have Told You, and I just tell you stuff that your mama should have told you. And don't call me mama on my page, please, because
Hell
I'm not your
no.
mom.
Hell no. Exactly.
Right.
Because, folks, that's the way it works now. Okay. Lady
Thank you
Kina,
so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a
honestly.
great one.
And I'm going to bother you at
My
some point
pleasure.
on the social media web, so look
Yes,
for that.
we'll have clips and everything ready for you when we get it chopped up over the next couple of days. Thank you again.
Awesome.
Take care, Kina.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye, love.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
All right.
Hey, thank you very
Bye.
much.
And folks, that truly is the way it works now. And There are
Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube.
And on YouTube, it's the way ISH works because of certain censors on Instagram.
For now, you can find this on the RCE page.
There are a couple of things, and for now, yes, you can find this at RCE 106.9 FM, where we stream out live in the beautiful city of Barcelona. These books, really quickly, before we run out.
Oh, absolutely. One Person, No Vote describes detail of voter suppression, mostly in the South, an incredible tale. And This Is May Contain Lies, which is a little bit of a different look about how cognitive biases inform our media coverage and what popular culture beliefs are, how data can be misrepresented and
use your critical thinking because of this.
And the point, the solution is more critical thinking. Listen, thank you all very much for your time. Lucas, my brother, always appreciate it.
Thank you, Poppy, for being here.
And vote. Get other people to vote, volunteer, boycott, and stay informed.
Yes, boycott specifically the places that you know are messing things up. There's a whole list that you can find that easily online, but specifically I'm going to start with Amazon.com. And also votefromabroad.org. Get yourself situated. It's the new year. Get yourself situated for November. Power to the people. Take care. This is Tori Sparks. Everybody knows because you already know, and that's the way shit works now. Bye.
It's over. Everybody knows the good guys lost. Everybody knows that the fight was fixed. The poor stay poor, the rich get rich. That's how it goes. And everybody knows. Everybody knows that the boat is leaking. Everybody knows that the captain lied. Everybody got this broken feeling, like the father or the dog just died. Everybody talking to their pockets. Everybody wants a box of chocolates and a long stem rose. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that you love me, baby. Everybody knows that you really do. Everybody knows that you've been faithful, or give or take a night or two. Everybody knows that you've been discreet. There were so many people.